What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Killer Keemstar. This is not a BadKidCast. This is an audio track talking about Drumler and the MLG. And I just want to get my personal thoughts out there. I made a statement that Drumler has helped build the MLG, and a lot of people were offended. If you are a longtime fan of Call of Duty esports, you probably believe that Drumler might be bad. You know, you probably think, oh, this is horrible. It's, you know, putting players and the sport in a bad light. But if you're new, you probably found out about, you know, maybe not found out about it, but Drumler has gained interest in Call of Duty esports for you. And the reason why I think this and the reason why I believe this is because so many people have told me. I've got emails, I got messages from people that said, you know, I got into esports through Drumler. Myself, there was a moment at UMG in 2013 where Optic beat Complexity, and all of a sudden, Nadeshot walks over to Aches, right? And then there's the caster says, wait, did Aches punch Nadeshot? Now, it wasn't a punch, it was a push, and we were doing Drama Alert at the time, and I picked up the story, and I was like, wow, what is going on? I was on the edge of my seat. Then we found out that it was a push, and I couldn't wait to see the next match between Complexity and Optic. I wanted to see what was going to happen next. It gained my interest, and I believe that moment right there may have been looked at as a horrible moment for, you know, for Call of Duty esports. You know, I can't believe players are pushing each other or whatever. And it might be bad for the sponsors. But at the end of the day, I believe that situation right there caused thousands of people to pay attention and to have interest in Call of Duty esports. Not everyone cares about watching the games. Not everyone is on the edge of their seat who will win. Not everyone. A lot of people want to see the trash talk, right? That's a very important aspect of the game, right? It's the hype. It's the backstories. It's the social aspect that draws our attention, that really, really, really pulls us to see competition. All right? It can be squeaky clean. It can be done professionally. It can be done perfectly, and that's what professionals should strive for. But at the end of the day, I firmly believe that the backstories, the drama that lies within players and the drama on Twitter and the drama behind the scenes is going to result in more viewership. It's going to result in building this thing called Call of Duty esports. A lot of people that are part of Call of Duty esports, that are players, that are shoutcasters, that are commentators, that are longtime fans, look at Drumler as a negative, bad thing because you were there. But newcomers, right? You got to understand, newcomers have been introduced to the sport through Drumler. And it's easy to say that's not true if you are already a fan. But there are thousands of people that were introduced to Call of Duty esports through Drumler and that started watching Call of Duty esports, that started paying attention just like that moment I had when Nadeshot and Aches got into the pushing match. That's what drew me in, and I know that Drumler coverage has drawn others in. I have the emails. I have the messages. I believe more than anything that Drumler is the hype machine for Call of Duty esports. I believe more than anything that Drumler has caused interest in Call of Duty esports, and I believe firmly, and I know for a fact, that Drumler is growing esports. It is helping grow esports. I know. It's fact. It's undeniable. New people have been introduced to the sport and are now paying attention to the sport due to the exciting drama of social interactions between players and teams and team owners and shoutcasters that is being covered through Drama Alert. A lot of people think that Drama Alert should not be on the MLG channel, and this is one thing that's really kind of frustrating for me because people don't see MLG.TV for what it is. It's a platform for content. I think Pomage, or I always say his name right. I call him Pajamas. Phase Pajamas, Optic. I think he quit both Optic and Phase, but I believe he has a channel on MLG TV, and he has nothing to do with esports. Syndicate is a Minecrafter, and I believe Syndicate plays. I believe he plays zombie games in Call of Duty. He has nothing to do with the competitive scene. He has a channel there, and I believe if KSI or PewDiePie or anyone that has a following wanted to have a show over at MLG.TV, I believe that they would get it, right? This is something that the MLG is trying to do. They're trying to create a platform for content, and at the end of the day, it's going to result in more viewership for Call of Duty esports. It's going to result in, Golden Boy made a comment. He said, I made a statement on Twitter. I said Drama Alert has helped growing Call of Duty esports. Call of Duty Ghost is not really the best Call of Duty ever. It would be hard to find somebody to say Call of Duty Ghost is a great game, and it's especially not a good game for esports, right? I believe that Drama Alert has caused interest in Call of Duty esports and made people keep on watching. It's easy to watch competitive Call of Duty on Black Ops 2. It's enjoyable. It's not as easy and not as enjoyable to watch it on Call of Duty Ghosts. It's a fact. And I believe that Drama Alert has helped people gain interest, telling stories. This player's doing this. People were trying to blacklist Optic. This is going on with their girlfriends. Like these types of stories, and interjecting this backstory into the overall story of COD champs is driving interest. It's undeniable. And Golden Boy made a statement. He was like, "Really?" And that's all he said. He was being very political, but what he was trying to say is, I disagree with you, Keemstar. I firmly believe he was just saying, Drama Alert is not helping, or is not gaining interest, or not helping to grow the sport. I believe that's what he was trying to say when he was like, really, question mark. At the end of the day, the work that I do on Drama Alert is going to result in Golden Boy getting more followers, getting more fans, and more people knowing his name. I believe that. I know it. You can't tell me anything different because the numbers speak for themselves. New people are being introduced to the sport through Drama Alert. Drama Alert is gaining interest into the sport, or into the Call of Duty competitive scene, based on these backstories that I'm reporting on. Kingdom Soldier is another one. He's uploaded 2 videos now saying that he doesn't think that Drama Alert is a good fit to be on the MLG channel. And I understand that, because you got to understand Kingdom Soldier is a Christian. He's a good guy, keeps a very clean show. And Kingdom Soldier is not going to report on this girlfriend cheated on her pro player. He's not going to get that news out there. He has a filter. As he said, he's only going to cover news in a very technical way. This person scored this many points, that person scored this many points, right? To a lot of us, that's boring. But to hardcore MLG fans, that's what they want, right? That's the type of stuff that they really want from him. And I've promoted Kingdom Soldier. I respect the fact that he does a clean show. When I did the Nade Shot interview, I asked Kingdom Soldier, right, for questions. I asked him to help me with questions. Now, when he told his audience about that, he said something like, Keemstar came to me, right? And he asked me to help with the Nade Shot questions. And I was really grateful. I didn't want a shout out. I didn't want any of this stuff. What Kingdom Soldier did not mention is that I linked his channel in the description. I said, thank you for the questions, Kingdom Soldier. All that was in the description. Over 100,000 people saw the Nate Shot interview. So I'm certain that people live and breathe and exist out there that have seen the link in the description to Kingdom Soldier, and I'm sure someone went over there and subbed to him. I've said on Twitter, check this guy out. And in return, I have him pretty much bashing Drama Alert. He will say, I'm not bashing Drama Alert. I just don't think it's a good fit. I don't think it's helping the sport. And people in esports, not everyone, because some people understand it. Obviously, if I have a channel on Drama Alert, on the MLG channel, some people understand the power of Drama Alert and how it does gain interest to the sport. But there are also people that think the direct opposite. They think it's horrible for the sport. It's bad. I feel like I feel lost. I feel lost. The YouTube channel being shut down definitely is depressing. I feel like a lot of people don't really respect Drama Alert, and I get it, right? We're doing stories on all different types of stuff that, people are like, wow, I can't believe you went there. I can't believe you're covering that. But at the end of the day, I'm not making up stuff. I'm covering what actually is being said, what actually is happening. I never try to interject opinion into Drama Alert. It's only facts. It's only storytelling of what actually is being said, what actually is going down. And I understand that this is a very competitive market, and some people are in awe at the success of Drama Alert, but I understand what people want. I understand what I want from entertainment, and I understand the stories that need to be told. There's also this big thing where Drama Alert has been labeled as covering e-girls, only covering e-girls. These girls are very important to this community. These girls, they don't know it, and maybe they're not even trying, but they're entertainment. They're pure entertainment. And anyone out there that says, stop covering e-girls. I can't believe you're covering e-girls. This is horrible. This is bad for the sport, blah, blah, blah. Anyone that has that argument has to look at the numbers. And it's not there, so we can't look right now because the channel's down. But when I would cover stories about e-girls, it got way more views. It caused way more interest than doing a battle between two teams that are arguing and fighting. Why is that? Some might say, well, because our audience, this community is filled with teenage boys, and they want to hear about girls, blah blah blah. If that's the case, then it's gold. Then it's something that we're as a community interested in. It's something that we want to know about. It's hard to come out and say, look, I really want to know about this e-girl covering herself with Nutella. It's hard to say that you're interested in this story, because it feels like, really? I thought you were a pro. I thought you were a professional. I thought you wanted a clean sport. It's hard to come out and say that, but at the end of the day, it's what we want. It's our gossip. It's our dirt. It's what keeps us on the edge of our seat, that wants us to be more involved and more engaged and pay more attention to what's going on and what's going to happen next in Call of Duty esports. That's my personal opinions. These are my personal thoughts. God bless Drama Alert. God bless the nation. I'm Keemstar. Peace.